Everyone has one really awful OC that they made at some point or another. Mine happens to be the first OC that I ever made, so I decided to redo her in this video. I played around with some different designs, color palettes, personality, body type, and I decided to do the first one that I actually drew, which completely defeats the point of drawing other ones, but who cares? It's whatever. I remember that when I made her, I wanted her to be this bubbly character, and she had this basic brown hair and blue eyes and super pale skin. She was like a basic anime girl. And actually, at the time, cat boys and cat girls were really trending, so that's why I made her an anthropomorphic squirrel, which is, I don't know why I chose a squirrel, I just did. I wanted her to be her own thing, and I feel like she was some unique character. She wasn't like anybody else, which failed because she was so basic. Actually, when I used her, I remember looking back on it, it was like, she was like a pick-me girl. She was so cringe. I hate thinking about it, but I wanted to do her some justice and fix her up in this video. For the first design, I wanted her outfit to play with her proportions, have some like really big baggy pants and like a tiny shirt, but I ended up hating that one because it was really modern and it was really boring. I actually realized in the middle of making her that I needed to know who she was and what world she lived in to be able to design her. So I did that. And I thought, hey, what kind of world would an anthropomorphic squirrel live in? And the answer was fantasy. However, I didn't want her to live in a fantasy world. It felt too boring. I don't like fantasy all that much. I really preferred it if she was in either more modern world or a sci-fi world. So I chose sci-fi. And when I think of sci-fi, I think of leather and latex and things of that nature. So with her second design, I made it a latex dress with blue tights, and for some flair, I added some holes in the dress and a hole in the tights. I was really enjoying how the design was looking, and I loved how the colors contrasted with her skin and her hair and her eyes, but I wanted to try out one more design before I made my decision. In the third design, I made her a bodysuit with blue details along it, with a see-through yellow jacket and see-through yellow eyeglasses. This one, I loved the way it looked, but it felt like too much. It felt like it would be way too much to draw over and over again. It felt like a character wouldn't actually wear this. The colors felt like they were mashing together. It wasn't good. I did not like it. So I settled with the second design. And when I was designing the illustration and drawing and doing all the details, I wanted it to be where she was either sitting or standing. And there were a bunch of screens behind her, shining light onto her and making it this cool ambiance where she's like this mysterious techie character. But that didn't end up working out for me. I didn't see how I could do that, and I didn't want to. So instead, I made holographic sci-fi screens. They felt a lot more futuristic than normal computer and phone screens. And I made the light shining onto her, but originally, before I made it all glowy and beautiful, I was going to settle with something that was not that. And I'm so glad that I went back and fixed it, because now it actually feels like there are lights glowing on her rather than having something like colorful cardboard floating in the air. I actually really struggled to draw her ears the way a squirrel's ears would look. Originally, when I was testing out her designs with little character sheets and doodles, I was really struggling to draw the ears. They looked like cat ears and dog ears, but they never looked like squirrel ears. So I had to look up several references as to how the squirrel's ears would curve and point, where they would like go when she looked around. But I originally got the hang of it, and after drawing it a couple times, I got used to the way they looked. While looking at those references, I also realized that a squirrel's tail would curve upward and hug to the squirrel's body, so I also added that onto her as well. While originally, when I made her for the first time ever, her tail was this huge puffball. It was not close to her body at all. It was like a really big dog tail, and it was really bad. When I was naming her, when I made her, I originally didn't know what to name her, so I had to watch several videos on how to name your OC, how to make your OC, and a lot of them were like, oh yeah, just look up names, get a name generator, look at names on Google. But instead of actually doing that, I decided, no, that feels way too boring, way too basic. I'm going to create my own name for her, and it'll be so unique. No one else will ever have this name. It's only her name. So I went on YouTube and looked at people that I was following for inspiration and people that I was subscribed to, and the one that I ended up basing her name off of was Drawing with Jazza, and I named her Jazzy. But I didn't want it to be too close to Jazza, so instead of Z's, I made them S's, so it was spelled Jassy. And I really regret naming her that because I hate that name. It doesn't sound like something you would name someone. It's not a very fluid and normal name. So, yeah, I never got used to her name. It always felt like I was talking about someone that wasn't anything like what she was. She was actually supposed to be really giddy and bubbly, but I always made her act angsty and closed off. But now that I've redrawn her and redesigned her, she feels like a more mysterious character rather than an angsty one. She isn't as angsty as she is mysterious and just quiet. She's a nice girl. I swear, she just looks scary. Now that I've finished the illustration, that is all for this character. I'm done with her, and I'm so glad that I am. She is so much better now than what she used to be. I actually feel like she has a stable set of what she is meant to look like and what she's meant to be now. Thank you so much for watching, and if you want to support a small artist, please like and subscribe. It would help a lot. Thank you so much. Bye!